Tired as I may be, feeling blue, let us begin, you. But a little, So, today, let me pull the chair up and kick back a little with this whole thing. Today, on my Mary Jane instructional video, I got a couple of questions from somebody who knows a little, but it's just enough to. And I've been here before, but this person knew enough to make him think he knew stuff, but he doesn't really know things. And so I would address this tonight with two things. One in particular is that if my videos aren't doing it for you, you don't have to watch them. One. Two, though, insofar as like your knowledge of Locrian is lacking, your knowledge of power chords is also lacking. So let me instruct you in the fine art of here's why you're wrong. So power chords, mostly used, of course, in heavy metal, thrash, all that, is really just an extension and a way of emphasizing and strengthening I'm pooped. Is really a way of emphasizing and strengthening the root tone. So if I just played an octave, it's all right. But if I played a fifth with that, fifth being a natural overtone in the harmonic series and exactly halfway between the root and the octave, which is also the root, so it's midpoint between two roots, all it does is really thicken the sound. And that's the whole point of power chords. It's a root perfect 5 or root perfect 5 octave, so either or. But it's a way of emphasizing the root note by adding one perfect sound to, like I was saying, emphasize the root. So that's it. And you're going to hear the fifth anyway. So what's the fifth of E? Let's do E. It's B. So if I played a E very quickly while holding down a B note, for instance, here's a B, and I stop every other note from being played, everything's muted, and I just go here, and I stop without pushing it in too far. Well, you're hearing a G, but I think that's because the G is resonating there. Let's try it here. Here's a B. There. So that's present in an E anyway. And it's part of the overtone series. It's going to have sympathetic resonance. So all we're doing, again, is with a power chord. The reason why they're called power chords, of course, is because they feel like they have a lot of power. With a power chord, all we're doing is emphasizing the root with the 5 that's naturally already there. Other things that you may want to notice that in thrash, generally, roots are roots. They'll be at the bottom of that chord the whole time. Most of the things that you're going to hear in thrash or heavy metal is a power chord. So now, does that mean what I just played had a tonal center, because that's where I'm going next, of Dorian, because that's a fifth and that's a fifth, and I played a fifth there. So sure, you could put it there if you wanted to, or you don't have to. You can, if you wanted to, start doing other things with it, like playing C, for instance. Now that puts us, because these notes are used as the root note of those power chords, that puts us pretty square in Aeolian territory. Hyper Aeolian, which is a classical term for Locrian, well, you're not doing as much. Wait a minute, hold on a second. let me take a look at something here real quick. Excusez-moi. Oh yeah, good. Okay. Anyway, yeah, sorry about that. So with that knowledge that the power chord, the fifth really doesn't matter in it. You're not playing jazz here. Even if you're playing jazzily, you're not playing jazz. You're outlining the root of the power chord, the overall tonality of it. And keep in mind, when talking about modal systems and playing modally, all we're really trying to do is boil it down to what is the primary tone center that you're playing over. And so, instead of having to start, if we're playing in Locrian, like a root, being E Locrian here, I'll play it here. You don't have to play an E half diminished chord to say, I'm in Locrian. No, all the rest of the root notes, all the rest of the notes of the chords that you're playing in the tonal center outline that chordal sequence for you. So and because that's there like that, and I believe we even play a D every once in a while, it's outlining Locrian. And so it has the tonal center of Locrian. So Locrian, like it or not. It doesn't have to do this. It doesn't have to do that to say, in fact, notice, I'm playing a fifth there. Should we start out always doing, for the root, flat 5, 5, and also in Locrian, the fifth is not omitted. The fifth is flattened. So it's a flat 5. It creates a natural tritone. The only other scale I think that does that is Lydian, but it's because of the sharp 4. But and it even doesn't really do that natural tritone thing anyway because it's got a major third. So if we're going to talk about Locrian, we have to talk about building blocks, by the way. So building blocks of Locrian is like I was saying, is as far as the chordally is concerned, is this root, flat 5, flat 7, and that would be your minor third. To make that, because the Locrian isn't a true diminished scale, that's a little different. You have a double flat 7 or a diminished 7th in that scale, and because you don't have that in Locrian, well, it puts you in some hazy territory, to where this is your actual chord as opposed to this, which is a real diminished chord. So the E minor, or in this case the minor 7 flat 5, puts you in that tone. But if we outlined an E minor 7 flat 5, which is essentially the same, with power chords, with fifths, it doesn't change the fact that we're outlining that tonality. So I hope you understand now why you were wrong, and it's okay to be wrong. People are wrong all the time. When I was 15, I thought I knew everything about scales. Actually, when I was 18 and before I actually took theory, I thought I knew a whole bunch too, and boy, was I wrong. So, but from here on out, I think once now that you have a firmer grasp on what it means to be a power chord, a root 5, and you can translate that however you want. I don't know if you're from this country or from another country that does speaks English or not, but you can translate that whatever way you want. All you really need to know is that power chords emphasize the root note of itself. You don't, most of the time in metal music, you would emphasize tonality by, kind of going off of that. And again, with Megadeth here, they're always chugging on the E. It's Locrian. So, I mean, it just is. Same type of thing could be said for like George Lynch, you know. That's E, A. All that is an emphasis in tonality. That's it. That flat 5 is there, but it's more for like textural purposes to set a mood. I mean, I wouldn't say that this Black Sabbath, I wouldn't say that's Locrian at all. But, you know, it could be. It could also be straight diminished. And that would work just fine. But what would also work just fine is Locrian, yes. You know, there are other things like Lydian. But the point about that is we're only talking about, in that case, 3 notes. And one of them is the same as the first one played. So you have 2 Gs, and you have one other thing that could identify tonality, which is a flat 5 or a sharp 4. We don't know which it is because nothing else is being played around it. So we have a very loose tonal center. We can play all sorts of things with that, you know. Sure. You know, we can go nuts with that. It's not locked in. The fewer notes you have, this is something you can pick up from Joe Satriani. He used to talk about this a lot, is that the fewer notes that you have in a sequence, the less identifiable the sequence is as far as locking you into a certain tonal center. So that riff, for instance, Black Sabbath only has 2 real notes in it that differ from each other, which opens up a lot of doors. Now, if you just have a root and a 5, that opens up every door because just about everything has a root and a 5. And even if it doesn't, you could still mess around with stuff that does because of blues. So... So if I'm playing straight Locrian over a 5, that still sets the tonal center because of the blues scale. It's a neat thing. But remember, tonal centers matter more than anything else. So when you're talking about modalisms, I'll identify a key. And that key that I'm identifying, in other words, this is the 4th minor mode of the major series, or of Ionian. So, you know, every other, essentially, there's 3 major scales, and then there's 4 minor scales in Ionian, that is. You know, out of that, in this case, the overall tonal fallout is Locrian. It is what it is. So now you know, and knowing is half the battle. Well, let's talk about some other things. Today is day 25 of carnivore. I haven't been feeling the best lately, and I have no idea if it has to do with my diet or the fact that my kids got sick twice in 3 weeks. And kids is singular, really. She has a husband, and they both live here, and they both got sick at the same time. And I started feeling kind of crap about a week ago, but I survived, and I'm good. And then I started feeling kind of like, ooh, yeah, I'm not so hot. And I'm tired. You know, like I said, I don't know if this is like the keto flu or if this is something else, but I'm pooped. So moving on with the story. Liquidation sale is on. Happy to report that I have 8 items for sale on Craigslist right now. I don't usually sell things, and in fact, they've been up for several days, and they haven't sold yet. So, you know, but no, normally I just collect things. I don't sell them, but they are for sale, and I've mentioned them before. It's hopefully they'll all go, but you know, and I did mention this in the ad that if you try to lowball me, I'll just laugh at you. So naturally, somebody's going to lowball me. The very next morning, I woke up and I'll give you $200 cash for your what is that? The MD24, which is the Dean, the orange Dean, and I'm like, ha ha ha, LOL. No. So that's fun, and. well, I'm only asking $450 for it, which is essentially what I bought it for. And I'll throw in another $50 and I'll give you, in other words, pay $5 for it. But it's better than it was when I bought it. I set it up. I did a fret job on it. It's better than new in that respect. And I basically baby my instruments, so there's that. But I have the original pickups, and if somebody really wants those, the Seymour Duncans, those are nice. You throw me an extra $50, and you can have those too. I'm not installing them for you unless you throw me $150, but that'll be the cost of the pickups plus my labor. But aside from that, isn't that nice? I don't know if you guys can hear the trails. That's the Slotva working overtime, excuse me. My whole goal here with this setup, by the way, is to be able to replicate the sounds I get in the Pliny plugin. That's pretty close. I think I need to tweak my graphic EQ, my parametric EQ just a little bit, but aside from that, it's going pretty well. So these are the things for sale. Let's drag this out, and I will show you all. And by the way, whoever's out there, welcome all 1,000 and what is that? 92 of you. Holy crap. I can't believe it. But let's see here. Let me do something else really quick here as well. Checking a thing. So that's fine. The Plantids, that's his name. He's a dick. Straight up. All right, so going on with the story, as I was saying, let's share a screen. And here. All right, that's for sale. Not too much. 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 And that's the end of that. All right. And you can see what I've got to talk about here. So unshare the screen and we'll get back to that. All right. So nothing is sold yet. Hopefully things do. My plan is to have less. That's the whole point. And if I gain more, it'll probably be more Ibanez's because, man, these things are nice. Just loving it. Really, really great. All right. So at any rate, day 25 of carnivore, as I was saying before, I don't know if that's what's going on with me, but I got to tell you, I am tired now. Don't know if it has anything to do with the diet or not. And I'm not really losing any weight. I should be, but I'm not. But, life goes on. Good times will be had by all. And I've got 5 months to go with this. Good times. Let's see. So I've been working on some instruments lately. That's one. That one was once, long ago and far away, a very mahogany, very 70s looking instrument. And I decided that I kind of liked a weird glowy mint green. And so I had to go for that. So I refinished that over the last week. And I'm waiting for a neck pickup to show up sometime, I think, Wednesday. So I can go ahead and wire the whole thing up. But it's got in it right now what's that thing called? What is that? Oh yeah, Black Winter. So it should be lively looking and rage quite nicely. So going on with the story, let's see. I need some sunshine. I think once the sun went away, I really started to kind of feel, but come on, spring, hurry up. So 70s celebration. Very, very brief on this. Oh, this. Thanks, Danny. So, yeah, let me talk about a celebration of the 1970s. So one of the guitars I'm refinishing, which is essentially done, but I'm waiting for pickups to show up Thursday before I throw it back together. A lot of stuff has happened over the last week. So I refinished 2 guitars and, well, maybe it's the fumes making me feel like, so don't know. But like I was saying, this one is getting a pair of Super 70s from, and they're Alnico 4. I like Alnico 4 pickups from Guitar Part Zone. And we kind of partnered up again. I was like, if there's any pickups that you'd like, last week or the week before last, if there's any pickups you'd like me to do a demo for, let me know. And he said, well, how about these? And I'm like, okay. Did I get a discount? No, but I ordered them. So once again, I can say that with no hesitancy whatsoever, I can review these with without the burden of being, a paid shill. I'm just a shill. So we'll see what they're like. I have no idea, but I have ideas about the sounds that I'm going to have to come up with, like what was really popular in the 70s and maybe the early 80s in the rock category. So those kind of tonalities, I think, that kind of thing. I'm going to have to go around, and do stuff like that. Probably going to have to do a few, things that, wouldn't make total amounts of sense. And, stuff like that. Yeah, but that's my idea of it. It's probably going to have to be 70s oriented in a certain kind of rock way, and I'm going to try to combine a little fusion with it and make it interesting. But I want to explore with it, kind of like I explored with the Demon, some what tonalities works best with it, and see if I can coax out stuff. Can't wait to do it. And if you notice, I took the bar off of this. I'm trying actively to not play with the bar because the guitar that I'm putting these in don't have one. So it's a fixed bridge. And so to play with a fixed bridge, you have to not want to keep reaching for this. So lucky for me, for about 10 years, I played without one. So, I mean, it's like falling off a horse. Sometimes you may not want to fall off the horse, but you never really forget how. All right, so on with the stories, which there really aren't any. Let's see. Liquidation is on. Oh yeah, work on Bach. So there's some Bach stuff. One of the things that I've talked about is in classical music, that I really like classical music, is to pick things out from classical pieces and really focus on certain aspects of them, because some things, like this partita, for instance, is really good for working on, well, one shape of arpeggio in particular. You can play it this way, or if you want, whatever floats your boat. But keep in mind, you got to go back up. How did that, and it keeps going. But if you focus on the technique alone for like the going, the arpeggio descending in threes, excuse me. It's nice. You can take that and move it around. I'm literally just kind of making it up as I'm going along, but that's something that I think that's kind of important. And also, it works to get you kind of into the mode of the bad and air, also, which is the same thing here for the partita. But this, excuse me, has a little bit of a different end. It doesn't go back up. It kind of does, but it does this. And so that's that. Yeah, all right. Well, at any rate, so going on with no story. What have y'all been working on? As if I didn't know. You're kind of a one-trick pony, Danny. You're very predictable. In my world only. So, come on, work on something else, man. So, it's a big world out there. Yours or not. I know you tuned in just to be insulted, so. At least work on the leads. Okay, I'm done. Good night, all.